Welcome to another episode of the FastLaneNow Live. Today I'll be roasting Michael on the top 10 college cars under 10 grand.
I think you are the one who's going to get roasted, Tommy, because you have made some horrible choices. Well, okay, we've got a top 10 list, and most of them are good, but there's one that we're going to have an intense conversation about, I can assure you.
Yes, but before we get into that, we should go over some news or at least some rumors and some talk within the car community. Of course, this week is the Goodwood Festival of Speed.
In England.
And possibly the biggest car that's running this week is the new Toyota Supra.
The new Supra. So Autocar UK has reported some new rumors about the Supra. There it is, running at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. So here's what the rumors have stated so far. Apparently it's going to have a 1,500 kilogram curb weight, which is roughly 3,300 pounds.
I don't know that math.
For those of us that use Freedom units, I think it's like 2.1 kilograms to a pound. Or yeah, no, other way around, 2.1 pounds per kilogram. Anyways,
yeah.
Supposedly the new Supra will have 390 pound-feet of torque out of a straight six turbo.
Okay, allegedly.
Allegedly. Some other rumors from the Supra Mark V forums, and these go back to like June. Apparently the starting price could be somewhere around $63,500.
Wow.
And supposedly it'll have 335 horsepower, but if that 390 pound-foot of torque mark is accurate, then I think it would probably have more than 335 horsepower.
So this is what the Autocar article says. Essentially, they got a hold of the Toyota chief engineer for the Supra project, and he said, I can't disclose specific figures, but the output of this engine is on par with that which we have seen with the F-Series from Lexus. So if you look at that theory, the RCF and then the big brother, the GFSF, make around 390 pound-feet of torque. So that's where they're getting those numbers, and I don't think that's enough.
You don't think that's enough?
No, it's not. It's not enough power, Michael.
No, you are wrong, Tommy. We've gotten into our first No, You're Wrong segment of the day. So there's two questions we have to debate here. So one, that you think that's not enough power, 390 pound-feet?
I don't think it's enough power, if that's true.
Well, if you go to Porsche's website and pull up a base model 911, you'll find that it has 370 horsepower,
right,
and around there in torque. And is that also not enough power?
Well, Michael, but by that theory, you can go onto the Dodge website and price out a Scat Pack Challenger with 485 horsepower.
But that weighs like 5,000 pounds.
Look, the point is that nowadays, whether you like it or not, in my opinion, horsepower sells cars. Horsepower sells sports cars in particular. The 911 is such a dedicated enthusiast car with such a niche following. And the fact of the matter is, I don't think they're selling a lot of those base model 911s. I don't know the numbers, but I bet they're selling a lot more Carrera S's or the higher end models.
But the Supra, according to this rumor, should weigh like I think it's some minor amount, like 14 kilograms less than the 911.
Right.
So it should have a similar power to weight ratio to a brand new 911.
That doesn't sell cars. Power to weight ratio.
What do you mean? It's $63,000 ish thereabouts, according to some rumors from the forums.
Michael, to get people nowadays into a dealership, you need big numbers.
Yeah, and if your numbers can take down a 911, then that's pretty good, especially from a Toyota.
Yes, but if your numbers are being completely squished by a $35,000 Dodge or a $40,000 Ford or Mustang GT.
Here's a point. How much power does the Miata make?
The Miata makes like 151.
But do you care? Do you care, though?
No, because it's 20 grand.
Okay, well, this is like
$63,000.
But
$63,000.
You don't need a lot of horsepower to make a car go fast. And according to some other rumors, the Supra should hit 0 to 62 in 3.8 seconds, even with that 300 and whatever horsepower.
So let's get some input from you guys out there watching live. Matthew says, not near enough power unless it's crazy lights. And I agree, Matthew.
3,300 pounds is not crazy light.
The Supra, in my mind, has largely been Toyota's halo car ever since like the Fast and Furious franchise has boosted it up.
Yeah.
390 horsepower for a Toyota halo car is just not enough. I want to see more. Make it more. And the other issue I have with it is it's just not that pretty.
All right, well, this is still fairly camouflaged, but I don't think it looks bad.
Can we get a picture of the front up here, Zach? It kind of looks
That
like
looks
it's
kind of cool.
kind of looks like it's already been in an
Look,
accident.
there's a big vent here. Already been in
It's
an
just
accident.
a lot going on.
No,
It's-
this front end is
squished, it's smushed.
sculpted and aggressive.
It's also got like this weird hole in its face.
All right, well,
It just
we've
doesn't
never
work.
seen it without camouflage or cladding yet, so let's wait until the final, body comes out all uncovered, whenever that happens, and then we'll discuss styling.
We will.
But you're wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Today we're talking about the 10 best college cars for under $10,000. Now we set this budget because it seems to be a fairly reasonable budget for students in college,
Yeah.
right? And based off the people we know and the people we talk to, it seems to be right around what our average demographic pays. You know,
for their car for college.
and of course, that's still a ton of money. And we know a lot of you guys out there, may spend $400 on their first car, or $500 on their first car, or there's people out there that have $40,000 to spend on a college car. But this was kind of splitting right in the middle, $10,000.
Yeah.
We looked for realistic cars that were around 10 to maybe 15 years old, but most of these are under 10 years old, so they still have relatively modern safety enhancements. But they're also interesting.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not just your typical...
And they would serve a college student well.
They would,
Yeah.
yes. A Corolla would also serve a college student well, but we like to find the interesting, maybe more dynamic or exciting vehicles out
more
there.
fun.
Yeah. So our number 10 car on our list is large. It's four-wheel drive. It's something you can take off-road. That is the Jeep Grand Cherokee, specifically the WK model, available between 2005 and 2010. Grand Cherokees, there are a ton of different configurations. There's ZJs and WJs. We chose this one because it's still new enough to fit in with modern traffic, and
Yeah.
it still has airbags. And what do you
Yeah.
think of the WK?
It's kind of it's still probably a pretty decent car. You can get them for very cheap, under $10,000. It was available with a 4.7 liter V8, which is really cool.
Yep.
But there was also an SRT8 version available,
Yep.
which unfortunately is a little more expensive. I don't think that quite qualifies for the under $10,000 price bracket, but the fact that you can still find those is pretty neat. I mean, they were pretty fast when they came out.
Yeah, well, any Grand Cherokee of that generation is going to be large, it's going to be comfortable. Even with the V6, it's going to be pretty refined. Anon says, look at mom's car, LOL. And I completely agree and disagree. Yeah, it's a little bit pedestrian, but it's still very off-road capable, still very tunable. There's a lot you can do with a Grand Cherokee WK. Perhaps maybe less interesting than our number 9 car, which is...
the Subaru Baja. Now this made the list for a number of reasons, mostly because it's a Subaru truck in effect. But yeah, it's practical. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to add one last point to the Cherokee because it leads into this pretty well. In college, I think you want a car that has some utility to it because you're going to have a lot of friends. You're going to want to take them places in your car. Maybe you throw parties. You need to go buy like kegs or whatever. You need space for things. You're going to be moving a lot in college. A college car, I think at least, and we'll get to this in a a little bit, should be somewhat practical.
It has to be. I don't think it has to be.
It's better if it is, though, and
No,
this is certainly practical because it has a truck bed.
Yeah, well, what makes the Subaru Baja cool is it's unique, right?
Yeah.
Outbacks of this generation, they're just a little pedestrian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Baja was just so weird and wacky. There was available in both naturally aspirated and turbocharged 2.5 liter flat fours.
Yep.
You could have it in a 4-speed automatic or a 5-speed manual.
The turbo ones also are actually cheap enough that you can buy it for less than 10 grand too.
Yeah.
We found a number of turbo Bajas for under the 10K price point.
Right.
But you actually must buy it in this Big Bird yellow color here.
You just have to.
You have to buy it in yellow because otherwise, what are you doing with your life?
Okay. Number 8 is the second generation Honda Fit, 2009 to 2014.
So the picture is actually the third generation.
Yeah, this is the brand new one. Ignore that.
That's a newer Fit.
That was my fault.
But the Fit, regardless of the generation, be it first, second, or third, it's always been a surprisingly fun car that has not gotten enough credit within the car community.
And my point with the Fit is that it's just hugely practical. So they have, especially on this new one, they have the magic seats. It's a hatchback design. And Nathan and I did a video with it. You can check that out up above or whatever. We'll provide a link. But we were actually able to fit 5 35-inch mud terrain tires in the back of a Honda Fit.
So Michael judges his coolness of college cars depending on how many couches you can get in the back. So his perfect college car is the Dodge Ram, or sorry, the Ram ProMaster.
No, that's not true. That's
but
false.
the cool thing about the Honda Fit, it's not the fact that it's practical. It's the fact that it's fun, it's economical. You can get it for cheap. You can do a lot of different stuff to make it your own. It's really fun, but not nearly as fun as our number 7 car, the Mazda Miata, which I think is an awesome college car.
No, Tommy, you are wrong. The Miata is a horrible car for college.
Why?
Because, okay, you have 2 seats and like a folding roof and barely any trunk, right?
What's your point?
You can't carry anything in it.
Michael, how often are you carrying stuff to and from campus?
If this is your only car, which if you're in college, it probably is your only car.
Yes, because you're in college. You want to have fun.
The day you have to go buy a mini fridge from IKEA, you're going to be screwed because there's not enough space to put anything in there.
So, Michael, when you moved last year, what did you do?
I borrowed Big Green.
But you borrow a truck. That's what you do in college.
But I didn't necessarily. I only needed the truck for like a couple things because the rest of it I could move in my little GTI.
But the point is, if you're using a truck, use it to move, and then you can have a fun car. Because you're in college, guys, right? Here's the fact of the matter, and I've talked to my dad about this. I've talked to Nathan for ages about this. There's not a lot of other periods in your life where you can be able to buy a 2-door convertible sports car. You have kids, you have a wife who doesn't like it, you've got commitments, you actually do have to carry real stuff on a daily basis. This is a great little college car. It's economical, it's going to be reliable, it's small, you can fit it into places. Plus, there's nothing better than a summer's night with your girlfriend in the passenger seat, top down. This is so much fun. Why do you need so much practicality on a daily basis if you're not driving that car on a daily basis?
Because I carry stuff around all the time. Plus, I live with...
What was the last thing big that you carried around?
The last big thing that I carried around? Well, I need to think about it a little bit.
There you go. You have to think about the last time you had to carry something big around, and that's exactly my point.
It happens on a pretty regular basis.
You have friends, right?
Yes, but I have more than one friend is the problem, Tommy.
but
So if I want to drive anywhere, they'd have to sit on the roof or something. Okay, here's what I'm going to say about the Miata. I don't hate the Miata. I just think it's a bad car for a college student.
I don't think it is, though.
I think it is. I think it's a bad car for a college student.
Like a lot of the people I talk to in college, they drive their cars on the weekends, right?
Sure.
They drive them to the mountains, right? They go hiking in them. You can do all of that fun stuff, top-down convertibling by the beach, by the summer in a Miata. It's going to be reliable. It's small. It's fun. This is a time in your life when you want a small, fun sports car.
I think the time in your life when you want a small, fun sports car is when you're like 28.
When
so
you're
you have a job, so you have enough money, so you could probably own 2 cars, right? You could have this and then whatever else you
28?
need.
You're going to have 2 cars at 28?
You have like 3 cars and you're 21.
My Cherokee's kind of a clunker, let's be real here, and the Scout is a whole nother story.
Yeah, and then you have the Jeep.
But the fact of the matter is, Michael, is I'm not a traditional college student. Like I live at home and I have space to put these cars, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do that.
Sure.
But even if I had only one option, the Mazda Miata, especially in NC, with cruise control and air conditioning, it's a great car. You can get it in a hardtop convertible. You can get it in a manual and automatic. This is the time in our lives when we need to be able to go out and buy exciting, interesting cars. 2-door sports cars are just perfect for this time.
No,
Look, here's the other thing.
We gotta move on.
No. One more point.
Okay.
You say you've got friends who always want to be, you want to drive with friends. That's great, right?
Yeah.
Go for a ride in your friend's Volvo.
Well, no.
Right? That's the point.
What if your friend doesn't have a car?
Plus, here's the other thing too. The first thing that's going to happen when you buy a Volvo is you're going to be the moving guy.
No, you're not the moving guy.
You are the moving guy.
You are not the moving guy.
You own a Volvo. You're going to take people to the airport. You're going to end up moving people. Your car is going to be wanted and needed. You always have an excuse.
Will be avoided.
I'm sorry, I can't drive you to all of the bars all night.
Yeah.
I have
So you'll have. It doesn't matter that you only have one seat because you'll have no friends because you can never help them do anything because you have a Miata.
That is an awesome, fun little car. It's really good for college.
Terrible for college.
Let me know what you guys think.
What do people think?
People are actually more in line with me. I love the Miata. Ask Emmy Hall if she loves it.
It's terrible for college. Terrible for college.
Let's see. I wouldn't pick anything with a convertible top. That's true. It will be sliced open at most campuses. But they do sell hardtop options on this.
Which are expensive.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is they're there. Look, Michael, there's something so special about a 2-seater convertible roadster. It doesn't matter if it's a new Miata or if it's a 40-year-old MG, right?
Yeah.
That's such an incredibly
How
rare...
much time do you have in college to just go out on the weekend and drive your Miata
How
to the
much
beach?
time do you have in college to drive something practical and something that's not as fun as it possibly could be?
But you have to do things. You need something practical.
You can't even answer the last time you used a full trunk in your Golf GTI,
It was at the beginning of summer when I had to go to my aunt's house and pick up a bunch of stuff from her place.
that was 4 months ago. That was 3 months ago.
It's July.
It's July.
We're
and
2
that
months
was
in the summer.
The beginning of summer.
It's 2 months. We're calling
The
it 2 months.
beginning of summer was the
That's
last time he
pretty
used
recently.
the capability of his Golf. No, I'm sorry. You're in college. Just go for the Miata. Number 6
Don't
on
do
our
that.
list
Buy
is
this instead.
the 4th generation Toyota 4 Runner.
Much more practical.
Yeah, but that's not why this is cool. It's cool because it's a 4Runner and it's off-roady and it's got a big old V6 and a V8 option, right?
All right, I might be thinking a little bit along the lines of a college student from Colorado because that's what I was. So my buddy, actually one of my best friends, does have exactly this car. He has this generation 4Runner. It's an SR5. He's got the V8. We could take it skiing. We could go, move a couch with it. We could pick up whatever we found on Craigslist with it.
He was officially the couch mover of the friend group.
He was not the couch mover. He was incidentally the only one of us that had a car freshman year, so that's what put him in that category. But this truck served us very well over the 4 years of college that we were living together. So I think this is a great college car, and they're less than 10 grand, pretty reliably.
Yeah, if you can find them, in good shape with mileage that is under 800,000, they're less than 10
Which
grand.
you probably can.
We have an interesting comment. Chico12345, Chico says the best car is the Lexus LX 470. My issue with that is I agree, great truck, but they're just so expensive. And finding one for under 10K is a challenge. It's just really hard. I'm getting signals from our producer Zach
Well,
here.
we have to tell people about our new
Welcome to the Hood.
Welcome to the Hood is what we need to discuss, Tommy.
Yep.
So guys, if you haven't joined us before, Welcome to the Hood is a way for you to be a part of the TFL family forever.
Yeah.
So YouTube has a cool super chat function for live videos, which we thankfully employ. If you hit that little $sign button, you can send us a donation through the chat.
Yeah, we love that.
Which we
That'd be
greatly
awesome.
appreciate. And we have some bonuses to thank you back for doing that. So if you give us $5 or more, we'll write your name on our hood from a Diamond Jubilee Mark V Lincoln Continental. $10 and you'll get one of these really cool stickers. You just have to send us an email and let us know your address, and we'll send you a TFL truck sticker.
Yep.
And anything $50 or more will actually get you a hat like this one, or we have a bunch of other.
They're floating around here.
We have other
somewhere.
ones, but a hat with the sticker, and we'll even, if you so choose, we'll sign the hat and send it on your way.
Right.
So that's just our way to, ask you guys for some support, but also say thanks at the same time.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
Welcome to the Hood, please. Help us out.
Yes. Okay, let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
Number 5 is the 2nd generation Mazda Speed 3, available from 2010 through 2013.
We're into the hot hatches, Tommy.
We are into the hot hatch.
We are into a hot hatch. This car has, I want to say, a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. 2.3 liter, that was it. 263 horsepower, which is a ton of power for a 2.3 liter engine.
Yeah.
It's turbocharged, cool looking. It's a Mazda, so it'll be pretty reliable. My other roommate owns one of these, so I also have some experience with this. Plenty of room inside. It's cool looking, and minor downside, it torque steers like a pig.
Yeah.
So you have to be mindful of that, but it's a great budget hot hatchback. You can easily find them for under 10 grand.
Yeah.
And they're lots of fun.
They're really hard to find unmodified, though. That's
Right.
kind of the
A
trick.
clean one is kind of the tricky part.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
maybe if you're in college, you'll be modifying one anyways. I don't think we need to talk too much about practicality because it's a hatchback. Of course, it's practical. But it's also fun to drive, Tommy. I venture, actually, you would have as much or more fun going much faster on the same road in this than you would in the Miata.
I'll venture you'll get more speeding tickets, but Michael, there's nothing more fun than a convertible roadster.
I have one
Than
more
a convertible
problem.
sports car.
The Miata I have issues with too because I'm too tall. I'm too big for it.
Yeah, but what about...
I have to drive with the roof
What
down.
about like, there's MR2 Spiders, right? There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
there's a lot
there's a
of...
lot.
I'm telling you, two-door sports cars, if you can afford them, if you ever have the chance to own one at any point in your life, you can get them for relatively affordably. College is a great time to do that because you don't have the commitments and the needs of daily life where you have to lug around car seats and stuff. The Miata is a good way to experience that in college. and for affordably too. Number 4 on our list is another off-roader. It's the second generation Nissan Frontier, 2004 to present, or the second generation Nissan Xterra. Just both really, really awesome trucks. And honestly, like you see that truck and you're like, oh, it's a new Frontier, but that could be no.
That could be an 05. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could buy a brand new Nissan Frontier, and it could have also been built 12 years ago, and you would have no idea because it basically hasn't changed in that time. But as a result, it's very reliable and pretty inexpensive at the same time. A truck would be, yeah, you might be the moving guy.
Yeah.
But if you ever had to move something, you wouldn't have to borrow somebody's truck. So it's a great car for college. The Xterra is actually pretty fun too, maybe a little more refined. And the Xterra came in a supercharged option.
Well, this is the second gen. And the Frontier actually did too in the early ones. And the like the super early Xterras, they had issues with cooling lines, and it was a whole thing with them frying ECUs. But later on, they had a really solid vehicle, and you can get them for under 10 grand if you look hard enough. And they're definitely out there because they made a ton of them.
And they're still making them because it's basically the same truck.
Okay, number 3 on our list is the Hyundai Veloster. And the Hyundai Veloster is cool because it's just so funky. I mean, regardless of whether you get the turbo or just the naturally aspirated one.
Look at that.
Weird, like 3-door configuration. Not super practical, but that's kind of what makes it cool. It was just spunky and unusual, and just really out there for a a mainstream automaker to just pull this out of nowhere. So the Veloster is really cool. Definitely get the turbo if you can find one.
Yeah.
Because it really spices them up. The platform on these first generation Velosters, they left a little bit to be desired.
From a handling perspective, for sure.
Yeah, they're kind of based on an economy platform.
It's okay though.
But
still a hatchback.
Yeah, they were cool. Dodge 318 Cummins is garbage. It actually isn't. We had a few of them back in like 2011 as test vehicles. They're really like
they're fun.
Don't judge them by their cover because they are fun little cars.
Next, time to move to number 2.
Yeah, number 2 is the Scion TC. Talk about reliability and built tough. The TC is a great one. Plus, it's spacious and a hatchback at the same time. Like that's really cool.
This was a little a throw to us from Nathan, who suggested we put this car on the list because he was really blown away by how incredibly spacious it is. Because believe it or not, even though it looks like a coupe, it is a hatchback.
Yeah.
So there's tons of room in the back there. After you put, you can lift the hatch up, and the back seats even hold people pretty decently if you need them to.
Right.
Again, Scion was it's one of those cars that kind of along the same lines of the Veloster that was marketed to young people like us and probably college students because it's inexpensive, but it has cool, funky design to it.
Well, the cool thing too is it's not necessarily a performance-oriented model.
No.
Naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, front-wheel drive. But if you get a early one, a first-generation TC, they can be had for not that much outlay, and they're still spunky enough and cool enough to be kind of fun and hip.
Yeah.
No Miata, but it's still a fun little car. And number 1 on our list is a Mark 6 Volkswagen Golf GTI.
The best choice on the whole list. That's why it's number 1. The Mark 6 GTI was produced, I believe, from 2008 to 2014. Or maybe it's 2000. Yeah, that's correct. It came with a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, as has pretty much every GTI for forever. That's not true, but in the last few years,
Michael.
No, it's a choice of economy hatchbacks. It's a German sports hatch that is just fun to drive and extremely practical. I own the Mark 7, the one after this. I have a roof box for it, and I was basically able to move my entire life from Seattle to Colorado. Like 6 times I've driven that road trip with all my stuff in a box and in the trunk. It's extremely practical. You get like 35, 40 mpg on the highway depending on where you're going. And it feels German. It's a great car.
I love the GTI. It's a great car. The issue with buying a used one, especially at this price point, is reliability. And that's probably the biggest issue. Most of the vehicles on this list are going to be super solid, right?
Yeah, this
Mazdas, Toyotas, Nissans.
At 60,000 miles, your water pump will fail. That's like not a question.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Hey.
Neil Manning, thanks, bud. Appreciate it. $5. Hey guys, I think you are great. Keep up the good work. I like Nathan. I think he's crazy. We think he's crazy too.
He is crazy. That's factual. Yeah.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for the donation.
He, by the way, agrees with the Miata. He thinks that the Miata is a good college car.
It's a terrible college car.
And so does Zach, our producer. And so
I'm pretty much the only one in the office that thinks it's a bad college car, but I'm gonna stick by that.
gotta wonder why, huh?
Yeah.
Gotta wonder
It's a terrible
why.
college car. Yeah, so the GTI would be a little unreliable potentially. If you take good care of it though, it should serve you pretty well. And yeah, there's gonna be things that break, but they made so many of them that the parts aren't terribly expensive. The labor might be expensive if you don't do the work yourself. But it should be a really good car, and you can buy them for under $10,000 pretty easily. Especially the generation before this, the Mark V, you'll have no problem finding one of those for under 10 grand.
Yeah, I mean, reliability is another concern with the older ones. But our bonus, and I think this is Michael's idea, I think it's not a good college car.
It's a great college car.
It's the Volvo V70R.
These are, okay. 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 5-cylinder, 310 horsepower, available with a 6-speed manual. Your dad had one, my dad had one. They're a lot of fun. They're a total sleeper. They hold a bunch of stuff because they're a Volvo Wagon. And I don't care what you say about wagons, it looks cool.
Michael.
It's an awesome car.
Michael.
And easily had for under 10 grand.
Michael.
Easily had for under 10 grand.
What was that you said?
What was what?
Your who had one?
My dad had one.
Yeah, my dad had one too.
Your dad had one.
Do you recall how old your dad was when he had one?
He bought it in 2007.
Yeah.
And it made him 45 years old.
Oh, that's interesting. I think my dad was 48, 49. Yeah, he was like 49 when he bought one. This is a great car. I love the V70R. It's not a good college car.
We have on our notes here a point that says rolling abstinence.
This is our producer Zach's point. and he's a little bit right here. Because it's cool, Michael.
Yeah, it's cool. And you can hold a lot of stuff, and it's all-wheel drive.
It's a Volvo Wagon.
It's a fast Volvo Wagon. You can just smoke
Michael,
5 Series at the stoplights all day with that thing.
It's going to be so expensive when it breaks, and it will break.
It will break.
It's going to be so expensive.
It's basically the same engine from a Ford Focus RS, the one that was sold in England.
Once again, that's awesome, but it's in a Volvo Wagon and you're in college.
It's so cool though, look at it.
It's cool, but like unless you're a car enthusiast,
that's a sweet college car.
You have to really want a Volvo Wagon for it to be a good college car.
I am totally a Volvo nerd, so that's probably exactly why I want it as a college car.
Jeff Olson brings up a good point too. All the girls, polls all the girls. And your Volvo Wagon is not going to poll all the girls.
This would hold many girls.
It would, but it wouldn't pull them in.
But they would feel very safe.
Oh, that's hot, Michael.
Yeah, safety.
Let me talk about my airbags.
Safe is sexy. Yeah.
Oh, boy, God.
Rollover ratings are the best way to get a date, let me tell you what.
Okay, well, Josh Brown says it also comes with a chastity belt. So next up on our list is our Craigslist challenge.
We did a Craigslist challenge. So we were given a budget of $10,000 that we don't have because we don't have that kind of budget here. But we got to pick. We each picked 2 vehicles, cars that weren't on this list actually, but still something that we think would be pretty fun for college. So
yeah.
So here's my first choice.
God.
As usual, I was searching in Seattle. Because there's more vehicles there, and I don't want to pick the same thing as Tommy. But this is a '91 BMW 325. It's really clean. I'm gonna ignore the last 2 letters there. The bodywork is nice.
The most important?
Well, no, it's a 325i.
X.
Who cares about the last letter?
There's an X there.
The X doesn't matter. Move to the. Look at the interior. Look at that. It's brand new. It's gorgeous. It's got a manual. It's got all-wheel drive, which is great here in Colorado in the snow. That would be super fun for college.
Hey, Michael, do you want to go to a concert? No, sorry, I can't go to a concert. I have an issue with the BMW. Oh, that's right, because you bought a 27-year-old BMW for college with an iX system that's known to be incredibly complicated. It has like the, the front drive shaft went through the oil pan.
That's
not around it, through
German
the oil pan.
ingenuity. Only $8,000 also.
$8,000 and
that
then
is
another.
One of the cleanest 325s you'll find for $8,000. It's a coupe. You were talking about how much you love coupes.
Another $8,000 the second you buy it to fix all the stuff that's wrong with it.
But it's cool. It would be fun for college. All-wheel drive.
Once again, love the 325iX, but for college, like, well, I don't know.
It would
My
be fun.
car actually is practical for college.
Uh-huh.
There it is.
Oh,
it is
no.
a Suzuki.
Okay, you want to
Sidekick.
talk to me about a rolling chastity belt? That is the most hideous car in the world. Look at this thing.
Michael, it's an off-roader. This one's like
That is horrible.
What's
That
wrong
is
with it?
it's terrible looking.
It's like a reliable.
This has
vintage
more
Jeep.
dings than a golf ball,
It
dude.
doesn't matter. You're in college.
But it's not clean.
So what? What's your point? It's a lifted Suzuki Sidekick. You can go off-road, take it camping, do whatever the heck you want to it, and you're not going to take any value out of it. Really,
How much is that?
Like it's like 30.
There's not any value in it in the first
Perfect.
place.
It's college. That's
It
great.
gets better. It gets better.
What, Mike?
Check out the greatest.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, spill whatever the
Wow.
heck you want in there.
Maybe not whatever you want, but...
Oh, dude, this thing is cool.
So, okay,
This thing
it
is cool.
has a beat-up steering wheel because it has a steering wheel cover on it.
Ah, yes, Michael's the connoisseur of steering wheels. He's like in college.
You
He must have
nice
a
steering wheel.
pristine steering wheel.
You want to
Yes.
drive around with a condom on your steering wheel, or is that what you're telling
Doesn't
me?
matter. It's a
It totally matters.
Sidekick.
Come on.
It's an off-roader.
You gotta have a cool car in college. All right, anyway.
Okay, what's your
This
next
is the
choice?
real off-road choice for a college car. Bam! Look at that. It is a super clean FJ60, $10,000. Look at this interior, Tommy. This is the interior you need on your college. Look at that. It's beautiful. Oh, that's a Montero.
So,
Look at. Do you have the interior pictures? Oh, okay, never mind. The interior is very clean. 10 grand.
so, sir, talk to me about your geology degree. What made you want to pursue a life
This
of rocks?
this is not a professor's truck.
This is a professor's car from
This
the 80s
is
with
an
tweed, great
off-roading
tweed.
enthusiast's vehicle.
Oh,
You can
my
carry
God.
like 6 kegs in the back of this thing. You wouldn't be going very fast. It's reliable,
When
off-road capable.
Michael, when this was around,
red.
people were still using stones to write things.
It's not true.
It's too old.
This is from
It's
1989.
carbureted, Michael. It's
That's fine.
Carbureted.
That was a time-tested technology, Tommy.
God. Okay, next.
You bought a Montero?
It's
Oh
a
my
Montero.
God.
Way cooler.
Oh my God.
So if you're old and boring, you buy a Land Cruiser. If you're young and youthful, you buy a Montero. That's just a
Carcane
fact of
says
the matter.
Beautiful and awesome.
He's
That
talking
is-
about the Montero.
No, he's not. He's most certainly not talking about the Montero.
Okay, all kidding aside, I love Land Cruisers, but I think this Montero is cooler than your Land Cruiser.
No
Look
way.
how freaking clean it is.
Okay, you get the interior shot of this one, but not the like pristine
Oh,
FJ.
look how
sure,
clean it is.
that is just like the
Dude.
most 80s or 90s looking thing I've ever seen.
Talk to Nathan about Monteros.
Good lord.
Land Cruisers are overhyped right now. Monteros are sick.
The Land Cruiser will go up in value. This will like,
Yeah,
I don't know, drive off a cliff on its own probably.
If it's a Montero, it's cool. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm sure we stirred some stuff up there for
Yeah,
you guys.
probably. Oh, someone asked earlier, do we disagree about everything? No. We both like. What do we both like?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Matthew
No, we
Emmerich
disagree
says,
about everything.
Hard all around to beat a Civic or Corolla. Fun, no, but they're reliable. That's true, but this list wasn't just about your typical reliable A to B transportation. This was about some fun to drive college kid stuff, because I'm in college. He's old and graduated. That's why he
I
likes that
graduated
Volvo.
3 months ago.
Yeah, now you're already on a Volvo
3
wagon.
months
What
ago.
happened, Michael?